Oh, welcome to Puudonkis, the social distance edition. We have Noah of sendmetopixveryOwn.com and Micah of Drywall Installation. He'll install your drywall. Give him a call. Ring a ding ding.
Do it.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Link in description.
Drywall. Fail.
Micah's drywall installation with his own hands.com.
That's the one.
Your walls shouldn't be dry, they should be wet.
Wet.
I actually don't use my own hands.
Yeah, that's the secret of success, is to never use your own hands. You know, that's I bet you that's the chart, is the amount of hand usage compared to income. Oh.
What?
About
Yeah, there's an exponential curve, and on one axis is usage of one's hands, and on the other axis is income.
Somehow I don't think that's how that works.
I don't know, it might actually.
We'll call it the Jim Jam hand use theory.
No.
That's what my thesis is going to be about.
Maybe it's the softer your hands, the more likely you are to have lots of money.
Oh. The professor's like, Jimmy, I thought you were studying centipedes. And I'm like, nope, soft hands are the only way now, old man. That's the changing of the guard, and soft hands are coming in. Oh, hey, so a question submitted by Cannibalism says, what's a song you are embarrassed to admit you like? So, what's something you would have in an MP3 player, but you definitely would skip if it came on and had someone else in your car? It's a song you like, but you're embarrassed of.
So, I really like Owl City.
Ooh.
I really like
That's a
Owl
good
City.
one.
Is it because of the owls?
Well,
It's because
so
the guy sings it.
Is it because of owls? Well, now hear me out now.
No, so Owl City was a big part of my childhood, and I am a big fan of like abstract music. That's why I really like Tiny Tim, the musician from the 60s. I really like his music, but if someone was in my car and either Owl City or Tiny Tim came on, I would probably skip it because their music is generally so niche. It's like I would be embarrassed for the person to think like, what kind of stuff is he listening to?
Yeah. Well, I can kind of get that nostalgia thing, because that's a big key in what my answer is. But before I say that, Micah, what's your embarrassing guilty pleasure song?
So, I also grew up in Owl City, but that was mostly because of my older brother and younger sister, who both listened to it a lot. Generally speaking, I'm not really embarrassed about the music I listen to. However, there are certain kinds of music I probably wouldn't play if I was with family members, maybe.
So let's say you're...
Mostly because it's similar songs to what Jimmy would like to listen to sometimes, which is just, like yelly rap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I would say XXX Tentacion. That's how you pronounce it, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know.
Some of his earlier stuff, and then like Scar Lord.
I could see you jamming out with your mom and dad to that.
I don't think they would like it very much.
I think they would come around to it very, very slowly. But you need to engineer their introduction to these artists very, very smoothly.
Yeah, maybe I do.
I'd be like, Mom, you like the Beatles, right? Well, check out this melody by Scrimbus 75. Oh.
Wow, that sounds like a yelling good time.
I feel that way about Juice WRLD. I like a lot of his music, but I'm not. It's very outside of the parameter of what I would normally listen to, because I listen to everything. But it's like if someone walked in on me and I was listening to that, I feel like they'd look at me and be like, "You listen to that?" It's like, yeah, get off my back.
Get off my back, old man. My guilty pleasure music is purely for nostalgia factor, but the song the song that dadgum, sorry, I dropped a thing like a friggin' ape.
You are.
Cut. Edit. Definitely editing now. So the song that comes to mind that fits that the most is it's a pop girly song from the 90s called "I Love You Always Forever." I'm gonna Google that real quick. Forever. Who is that by? Hold on.
What?
Wait, what? Did you zapping yourself over there, buddy?
Oh.
You all right?
I'm not.
Touching exposed wire in your drywall once again, I see.
Yes, I had my walls done by Micah and it failed me. Now I'm dealing.
By the way, check out hisveryown.com. Also, you have to sign a waiver.
Yeah, technically I didn't fail you because it wasn't my hands.
Yeah, dude, Micah's hands, they're the softest hands in the West.
Oh, you brought that full circle.
I am from the West, yeah.
It's come full circle. Okay, alright, I need to step back and be like, yeah, Always Forever by what? Are you still zapping yourself?
Maybe. Yeah, first was the Maya, and then the Inca, and then the Aztecs, as far as I can tell.
Ah, yes. Mayan, because Mayan spelled wrong, is old, so they're older.
Did y'all know that Reza Aslan ate human brains in the desert?
Reza, oh, you mean C.S. Lewis? Yeah.
Oh, no.
He named his lion after him own dang self.
No, Reza Aslan he's this religious scholar, but he's like been critiqued a lot. One of the nuttiest things he did was when he went cannibal, and he was out in like, I think it was India, and they basically like made brains in a pan and like half forced him to eat it.
Oh.
And it's like,
Would you eat brains?
I think that's how you get prions.
Or would you try eating someone's like thigh?
Yeah. I'd be
Like someone who died, and then you were like, "Hey, you want to try a piece of this thigh? It's human."
It really depends how they died for me.
I'm gonna plug another podcast. If you go listen to Tim Pool, he does a breakdown of the incident, and it's very not okay.
No, don't plug his competition.
Yeah, brain podcast.
Who's even heard of Tim Pool?
Shut up! I love Tim Pool. He's great. Tim Pool, please follow me on Twitter.
Please.
Tim Pool, don't follow him on Twitter.
For when, in the future, you're going to run against Joe Biden in an election and be like, Noah versus Joe.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't run.
I like the idea of Joe Biden like coming out and just looking at me and be like, "All right, fat, listen, fat, come here, fat, you dog-faced pony soldier."
In one future,
I didn't find the war.
in one future, he's either preserved as a brain in a jar, or they do it Dune style, where they make a clone of him and they give him like chrome eyeballs, and they're like, it's the Gula, the Gula.
The Gula.
Joe Biden's brain, and they have Reza Aslan eat it, and it's all come full circle.
Tim Pool, please make me some brain pancakes.
Please.
So, Micah, would you eat a thigh? Or would you hesitate to eat a brain?
Only if it was my girlfriend's.
Hey!
I might have a nibble. Yeah, why not? It'd be interesting.
Well, that's how you
Just
become.
depend on how they died, though. Like, I wouldn't let somebody kill somebody just so I could eat them. And it would have to be like some natural death or something.
Yeah. It couldn't be like, well, they died of gangrene. Here's a slab.
But what if it was someone who was like shot and then they died? Their body was still intact, but like their face was messed up, so it had to be like a closed casket anyway.
Okay.
Micah, good job.
I thought, wait, why close? We're on a desert island here. Or did we even set up an establishment? Hold on. I'm thinking like
You just said if I wanted to try it. I mean, just trying human, it seems interesting. I mean, why not? It's just meat, right?
Well, look out for prions and
No.
whatnot.
You want to eat anything weird, but like Just like some thigh meat or something.
Oh, like a bicep, maybe a deltoid.
Oh yeah, like a bicep, or like the meaty part of your palm, maybe.
I would.
I mean, depends on how soft their hands are, to be honest.
I had an ex-girlfriend. I had an ex-girlfriend who got really mad at me one time because back then I was like, "Yeah, I'd eat a human being to survive." You know, like if I was on a desert island. I wouldn't now, but back then I didn't really know how I felt about it. I was like, "Yeah, if it came to it." She was like, "If we were on a desert island and I died, would you eat me?" And I was like, "Yeah, if I to survive." And she was like, "What?" And she got like really mad at me for like a week and a half because I had said it combined with the fact that I told her that if she became a zombie, I would be comfortable shooting her. And she was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's not you. I mean, it's your body. Like, you're already dead." And she was really mad that I would eat her on a desert island and I would shoot her if she came back. And I was like, I don't. Those were the first signs of sociopathy.
There you go. Well, here's another one here for you, Noah. If you're on a desert island and you're like, we'll eat a human body, would you use a human body as fishing bait and then eat the fish?
No.
No,
I would not. I have a very
fishing. Well, I have a perfectly good human right here.
Well, no, I'm very Catholic, and I see the human body in a very high regard, and I would absolutely see that as desecration of like a corpse. And it's like I could not use a human body to fish.
That's why you gotta get one of them Viking burials. Put them out on a little boat in the water, and then light it on fire.
I'll give him a frush.
Is that allowed now? Can you do that now as a Catholic?
Can I do what?
Light the body on fire? Or do you have to bury it?
I think, don't quote me on this, but you have to either bury it, or if you're cremated, your ashes have to be all in one place. Like, it's disrespectful to like the concept of the resurrection to like throw your ashes around or like scatter them in the ocean or something.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like, I'm not the arbiter of doctrine, so I have no idea. I just remember reading that because I want to be cremated, and I was just like checking the rules to make sure I wasn't like doing something sacrilegious.
So scattering the ashes even counts.
No,
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, think about it. Like, if you were to scatter their body everywhere, if they're like coming up out of the ground, like, where do they come from?
Where do they go?
It's not like they can't be resurrected. It's that it's disrespectful to the like if you're a Catholic and your ashes end up scattered or something, you know, like it's not like you're not going to be resurrected. It's not like Mormonism, but it's the idea of being consciously disrespectful to the concept of the resurrection, of being like, I know I'm supposed to be here, but I'm going to do this anyway because I feel like it, you know?
What if they had your ashes made into like a diamond? Does that count?
I think that's allowed, yeah, because you're all in one place. Like if you're cremated, as long as you're in like an urn or like you're kept together, that's kosher.
It's kosher.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what about living bodies though? So is it considered desecration of a body if while alive you kind of just let it go to waste? Like if you go like full potato mode and you're like, I'm never moving again.
Oh, you mean like if you like just sit around and get fat and like don't take care of yourself?
Yeah. Is that considered desecration of the human form?
I don't know if it would be as serious as like desecration of a corpse because it's like it's less intense. I don't know. It depends, I guess. Because I mean, if you go to McDonald's, like I don't think you're guilty of like desecration of, you know, even though it's unhealthy. I don't think it's like something you should feel guilty unless you're eating like McDonald's every day. You know, or like, you know, if it's like a problem like smoking or drinking or like, you know, sex addiction or like fast food addiction, or, you know, if it's an addiction, I'd say it's a problem, but not because food, sex, or substances are wrong. It's just you're letting those control you in an unhealthy way. So I would say that's one of the reasons that addiction is sinful, I guess, to allow yourself to get into, because it's not treating yourself or your body with apt respect.
Yeah, I hear that. Well,
you should always be in control of yourself.
I gotta say, for work, I had to like camp out at this area. I packed myself, it was a couple days, and I had packed myself some food, but that food, you know, it runs out after like a day and a half. And I'm like, I need something. So the nearest thing was this Wendy's, I had Wendy's like for 4 meals in a row.
Wendy's is so good though.
Like the first 2 times you're like, oh, this is naughty but tasty, but then after a while you're like, oh, I feel like I'm desecrating something.
No, I know what you mean. When we used to go up to like Indiana to visit my grandparents, we'd eat fast food like almost every day for like a week or 2, and like the first day is like, oh cool, I get to eat out, and the second day is like, oh cool, get to eat out again at a different food place, and then the third day you're like, again.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of what. So during the quarantine down here in Houston, I was up until like I stopped doing deliveries. I was working like 55 hours a week, and I was never home to cook. Like I was up in the morning, out the door, and just working, and so I had to eat out for like every meal. And to this day, even though I've already got like a new job and stuff, to this day, I'm kind of weary of like going out to eat. It's like I'm just tired of restaurant food because I've eaten so much of it in the past, like since April. I've just been eating so much of it, and it's like thrown my digestion all off.
Oh yeah,
and like I'm not going right in there, and it's like I hate it. I never thought I'd get tired of eating out, but it's like I need a break.
Especially if you're smelling it all day, I bet too.
Oh my gosh, yes, because it's like, it was like I could afford it, and it was like I had my discount, and it was like I also would just swing by like McDonald's and stuff, and Wendy's and Fridays and Outback, and Carrabba's and Pizza and like all the restaurants that are around town.
Oh, I live what now? The Kabbalah?
No. Carrabba's, an Italian restaurant.
You went to Cabela? I don't know. I've never seen one, Mr. Texas. I have no idea.
Yeah, they're owned by the people who own Outback, so they're.
I don't think there's a single Italian restaurant here.
Good. My favorite. I could not live without Italian. If I don't have chicken parmesan like once a month, I get suicidal.
Chicken parm is like one of the only good Italian foods.
Hey,
my gosh. You get chicken parmesan with fettuccine alfredo and like a Caesar salad and like a Dr. Pepper. And it's like that. You give me that meal, you're having my children. Like that is the best food.
I'm physically
now I know
incapable of having your children.
Oh, don't worry, Micah. A little bit of CRISPR editing, and you'll have a uterus in no time.
Alrighty then.
I'll say I have liked and always will like Italian food. But it's always been like ravioli. It used to be like different like spaghetti, chicken fettuccine alfredo, but now it's all about the different raviolis, and I'm like, oh, give me new ravioli, please.
Yeah, I really like the raviolis that are like thicker. Instead of noodle, right? You put in like a crust, like a bread crust, right? And it comes in like these. It comes with like this cover you put over the bread, so that it gets nice and crisp. And basically, you put it in the microwave, and cook it for like 2 minutes probably, and then it comes out and you've got your hot pocket already, and it's best ravioli right
so
there.
So you put a piece of toast and a ravioli in a sous vide, and then you get a hot pocket.
No, you just make a hot pocket.
Talking about hot pockets,
the best form of ravioli.
Just for like food categories, Chinese is my favorite, which is a blessing. It's kind of a curse being out in like eastern Montana, because I have yet to find a good Chinese restaurant out here, and so I've resorted to making my own. And I can make a mean crab rangoon, but like if I want to go out, like, hey, I want Chinese takeout. Oh well, there's Restaurant 47, and
That's how you tell it's genuine. If it's Chinese food and it has a number in the name, that's how you tell it's real.
Yeah. Well, the closest one we had, it's a quote unquote Thai restaurant, but they only have like 3 things on the menu, and one of them is like a frozen pre-breaded chicken, and they put like just this dumpy sweet and sour sauce on top of it, and sometimes it's not cooked all the way, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah. Not a lot of the Chinese places here are very good either, but my mom makes her own.
There's one out there that I really like. I think it's around Milton Freewater, and I really like it. Actually,
so I'm up in Glen Rose all the time. Anybody who has been to Glen Rose, Jimmy, when you finally come down to Texas, I'm going to take you to Glen Rose. And anybody listening who knows the town knows what I'm talking about. The Chinese restaurant on Main Street. and it is so weirdly sketchy. Like, I've always wanted to eat there, but not really, because I'm really worried I'll get like typhoid. But if it still exists, then like it can't be bad because people are eating there. And there's a just as sketchy Italian restaurant across the street in the town square. But the thing that blows my mind is that one summer I was up there, and so Glen Rose is a town that sits on the Paluxy River, which is this, you know, really big river that runs like through the town, around it, and out past Stephenville and stuff. And there was a sign in the window for the restaurant, and I've never seen this before, and it really frightened me. It said that you could exchange freshly caught fish from the river for food, like for meals. And they would use the fish you caught to make other food. And I was just like, that's real scary. Like, what if these fish aren't up to code? Like, these aren't like farm fish, or you just got these out of the river. Like,
it's like some random trout with just like infested with mussel flukes, and they're like, oh yeah.
And that's not crazy, because like that's up near Lake Belton. It's about an hour and a half west of Lake Belton. But when we were kids, we would just go fishing in Lake Belton and then bring them back, and our grandpa and uncle would, like, you know, fillet them and cook them for us. So it's like, it's not like crazy up there, but for a restaurant in a like tourist town to be saying, if you catch us fish, we'll like exchange it for food, and then we'll use that fish.
Kind of
like,
sick, to be honest.
It's a little weird, and it's like I've never gotten over it. And it's like I want to go eat there because I'm sure it'd be an experience. Like it's like from the 1980s. Like, it does not look like it's been updated, and I'm just blown away by it. And I really want to go eat there because I feel like it would be a like blast from the past. But it's also like, I don't want food poisoning.
No.
Yeah, there was a really good Chinese place that was here called Kwong's, and they had like this. It was one of my favorite restaurants, actually. They would give you like this huge platter of like noodles, and then like my favorite thing to get was like their the Chinese barbecue pork. You know, they like put a whole bunch of it on the top and like in throughout the noodles and everything, and it was just so good. But I think the last time I was there was for my birthday a few years back. Maybe when I was like 16 or something.
Oh, back when you still had two butts.
Oh, yeah. And my mom was complaining about how dirty it was, but it was so good.
Hey, you know, the food's good. To kind of step back on Noah's talking about like weird signs. So I did a ton of like survey work in the oil fields, and in this town called Williston, North Dakota. This was like kind of on the tail end, or on the tail end of the oil boom around like 2014. They have this little a strip club. So, you know, as the oil boom faded away, so did the money, and like, you know, the people working there just moved out. You know, all those out-of-staters who came in for the money are leaving. So
people's a strong word.
Yeah. Oh, you joke, but I have stories, man. But so a couple years ago, I went to the train station because it's right by that strip club, and I have a picture of it. Editor put in the picture of the funny strip club. It had a sign out there that said, "Come on in, free hot dogs." I was like, I was so glad. You know, struggling strip joint is like, "Hey, come in. We've got hot dogs. Please come in."
Get their willies turned into hot dogs.
Ooh, oh man, those are some spongy hot dogs.
Yeah, man. Deep fry them, then they're crunchy.
Man, working the oil fields, you meet, I don't know, sometimes you're watching TV and you're like, huh, there's no way a person like that would ever exist. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, life imitates art.
Oh, I have so much experience working on oil fields. Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, with the pump jacking and the wrench throwing and the hee-hooing.
Oh, I'm jacking pumps all day, every day. You know me. I'm getting swole is what I'm saying, obviously.
Nothing is cringe when you're swole. Speaking of Noah McBoa, are you gonna start working out at the weight lift instead of just Jogtopia?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my main workout right now is I'm trying to develop. As my voice cracks there, ignore that. I'm trying to develop
my vocal cords.
In like smaller areas so that I can get it in bigger areas. So like right now, I'm just like, you know, doing the 3 miles a day. And next month, I'm going to start like altering the walking and running and doing like my aerobics class every day. And then I'm going to start doing like cardio and weightlifting and running every day, and like just building it up by the end of the year. And, you know, that is the plan, to get swole, and not really to get swole, just to like trim weight
Yeah, a lot of stuff I read is like you should trim a little bit of weight first and then try to hee-hoo your way through.
I don't want to do my way. That's the thing. I don't want to be built and muscular. I want to be just like toned, you know? Just like I don't want to bulk up because people who look bulked up terrify me, and I really don't want that. Like I have friends who are bulked up, and it's like that's
man. This semester I'm taking a weight training class, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be lifting weights anyways. I might as well get college credits for it.
True.
Although,
might as well.
with the plague going around, I've got a feeling that it's going to become very strange. I don't know if they're going to like want me to buy a webcam and be like, oh, Jim, quick, record yourself doing some girls. Yeah.
What?
Doing some girls?
No, curls. By the way, subscribe to Groovy Biology's very own what OnlyFans? Yeah, subscribe to my very own OnlyFans to watch me curl a single girl.
2 girls. Before you come to our weightlifting class, we need to know that you're a Chad. I am in a relationship with a girl.
And her little squirrel.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh, explain to the sweet audience what the squirrel is.
Okay. It's this little rodent.
Yeah.
Basically, he eats nuts.
Very cool.
And he has like a big old bushy tail.
Oh,
Normally they live in trees. So yeah.
Very cool.
Jimmy, you got a more, biology version of that?
I know that tail is really handy for escaping predators.
Yeah, it really is.
And
in fact, the tail that my girlfriend caught actually was partially off because it was used to escape a predator, being my girlfriend's cat. And, basically, it was in her barn. Her family brought her a squirrel who'd been partially eaten by her cat. She nursed it back to health for a while, a few months. He was becoming an adult squirrel known as Earl. So the other day, she ended up calling this lady. I guess she relocates squirrels and stuff. So took it in, and now he's there. Although she texted me just a little bit ago and said the lady who she gave the squirrel to, or actually gave my girlfriend's number out to some people who found 3 flying squirrels, baby flying squirrels.
What?
They contacted her and asked if she could potentially raise them.
Is she gonna unintentionally start a squirrel rehabilitation center?
She would be so down for that.
I don't blame her. That'd be great.
I know. She is one of the squirrels, puts nuts in her mouth and
buries things in the yard. Man, rodents are too smart for their own good. You ever see that video of that rat giving himself a shower? Like he suds up and everything. Jamie,
no.
pull up the footage, Jamie.
Oh yeah, Jamie.
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
I don't listen to Joe Rogan very often, but is Jamie just like, is he just kind of like abused or something? Because he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Have you seen that video of him like Joe Rogan said something with conviction, and Jamie's like, yeah, well, I don't really agree. And Joe Rogan like gives him these dead eyes. And let me see if I can find the video for you to put up. I'll drop a link. But I will never forget that video. He looks at Jamie like with like such intensity, it like frightened me.
Oh, I've only heard like 2 Joe Rogans, and that was because of the guest. But I was like, man, Jamie, are you okay, buddy? Blink twice if you need help. I gotta show the audience what we got going here. Because of the plague, MSU has been first they refused to talk about how many positive cases they got over the summer every other university was reporting, but MSU's excuse was like, oh, we don't want to potentially violate the privacy of our students. They sent out an email this morning. They're like, this university had a spike, and this university had a spike, and surely we won't have a spike. And I'm like, you guys. Because I live in the dorms, I get like this nice meal plan, except now they pre-box everything, and you don't really know what you get till you like bring it back to your dorm and open it, and you're like, oh, surprise! But just the other day I got this it was like a third of a chicken breast between 2 very, little cheap buns. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. That seems about right. This might as well be how they do it.
Yeah, it looked so appetizing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the problem with universities. It's like, when you have schools and when you have like community colleges, you're not going to have as big a spike because that's generally a local population. But when you have like big universities and people moving into dormitories, those are people coming from all over the country. So you've got a much bigger pool of cases to draw from of people who are carrying it, but just haven't passed the incubation period. Possibly hundreds of people who are infected who are coming in to infect others, where you don't have that in like local schools.
Oh yeah. I think so last semester I was supposed to get this transfer student from South Africa. South Africa. I think Liberia. Yeah, he was coming in from Liberia. Oh, I better not say his name, but he had a bunch of paperwork that he overlooked, and so he couldn't come over in time. And he's like, "Oh, maybe they'll send me in April." March was when the big plague scare happened on campus, and I was like, maybe it's better you didn't come all this way just to be booted back out.
Ever since Tom Hanks and his filthy disease showed up, for coming up with that. That is not my original take. That is Adam's. Adam Donovan. That's Akira the Don's real name.
Oh.
He came up with the. I love it. He says that in all his streams. He's like, ever since Tom Hanks and his filthy disease showed up, it's never been the same. I love that, man. He's so great.
I've ever since you and then the internet historian kind of referenced him, I was like, I should check him out every now and then. So,
this is now officially the Akira the Don appreciation part of the episode.
Yeah.
He lives like 2 hours west of me, if that.
Well, you should go visit him and shake his very own hand. Or
I would like to.
Or
if I'm rich next year, I'm gonna like hit him up and I'm gonna be like, yo, your music and content enabled me to make my life better. Please allow me to take your family out for steak, because he really likes steak. And so I want to take like $200, $500, something, and just take him out for like a really nice steak with like all of his family.
Yeah, and until then, you can do the non-invasive method of just peering into his windows with binoculars.
I feel sorry for him because I'm pretty sure he's got people like that who are like creepy about it. Like I've met a lot of mutual fans, and we all, know each other from the Discord and like the streams, but I've never met anybody who's creepy, but I'm fairly certain they exist.
Oh, for sure. I sometimes I have to work hard at not becoming creepy because I'll like fangirl over some people when I meet them. Namely like musicians.
Well, I'd be really appreciative to meet him. Like, I'd be really excited, obviously, and I would fangirl a little bit, but it wouldn't be weird, Like there's a fine line between fangirling over meeting like one of your heroes and then being the, hi Kevin kind of freak about it.
Hi Kevin.
And that's what you did when you first met me. You're like,
Hello, Jimmy.
and I'm like, hey, you're really cool.
It's actually not. The thing I did when I met you was I said, become Catholic, and you were like, I don't know what to do anymore. And
that's right.
I was literally, you were in St. Posting, and you were like, I'm thinking about being Catholic, and I was like, oh, just DM me, and I sent you a meme. That's how we started talking.
I think what it was is like I was posting memes, but then you like did the Patriarch Prime thing where you're like, become Catholic to people's DMs.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, funny you should mention it because I'm at a crossroads here.
I saw an opportunity and I seized it.
That was pretty neato. But yeah, no, speaking of...
he's still at a crossroads.
Yeah.
A year later. It wasn't a year, but how long ago was that? 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in Saint Posting that long, and I haven't been very active since then, just because...
Well, no, because this time last year was when I was deciding to convert.
Yeah.
The summer of 2019, I had made the decision to research the church, and by fall, I was like... Because I'd been researching it for like a year, I didn't know what denomination I wanted to be, so I'd been studying it for a while, but I'd never really seriously considered the church until that summer. And then by that fall, I had done enough research to know, like, yeah, I'm going to be Catholic.
But for reference, I'm at this point where I'm like, oh, the papacy or the Orthodox patriarchy? Oh.
Papacy, because eventually the patriarchy is going to come under the authority of the Holy Father, so you may as well just save a step.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
We gonna see.
Micah has joined the church of Don Rickles and Ben Shapiro.
Dirty.
Actually, I don't even know if you actually do like Ben Shapiro or not, Micah.
Ben Shapiro or Shen Papiro?
Oh yeah, Shin Papiro.
I'm a fan of Shen Papiro.
I mean, I'm kind of a fan of Shen Papiro too. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro, I don't really listen to him.
We gotta have a whole episode dedicated to bad roommates sometime. But my last roommate, my last two roommates. One was like this Antifa Tumblerina,
Oh my god.
and the other one was like this America First Ben Shapiro worshiper.
That must have been interesting.
It was very, like, if I didn't have patience that day, or if I had like a hard day or something, I was like, oh, I can't stand this. But if I was like full of energy and pep and like, haha, then it was very entertaining, you know?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, some of my other buddies were like, whoa, you have two girl roommates? And I'm like, it's not great.
Not what you think.
It's not that having girl roommates it's bad. It's just that it's two girl roommates and they are like diametrically opposed and very politically charged. It's it's pretty gnarly.
That would have been fun.
Which one was hotter?
Honestly,
Ben Shapiro, right?
after like 2 or 3 weeks with them, I was just like, there's zero attraction. I know you
But
guys.
before that,
It had to be the MAGA one. Please tell me it was the MAGA one. Like, I don't even like support.
you can't be attracted to a Tumblr. I would never call
No,
that
No,
person.
you can. Some of them are attractive. I have been attracted to my fair share of like artsy liberal girls who like have nothing going on inside their head. You know, I totally understand that, but I'm just hoping for like, oh, who am I kidding? You were attracted to the Tumblrite, weren't you?
Which one was not attractive?
Well, you know, here's the biggest problem. I'm going to be straight with you guys.
Another question. Why was she not attractive?
Hey,
That's what I'm asking too.
yeah, no, I'm going to get real with you. I'm going to get real with the audience. Everybody, cozy up and
I'm so cozy.
Drink-
Wait, hold
drink-
on. I've got a blanket right here. Hold on. Just let me.
take a little sip of water.
Bleep.
I'm out of water, but I've got a blanket.
The
Cozy.
biggest problem with these two girls is that they were both under 30 feet tall. So, I mean, that's kind of a deal breaker right there.
Oh, yeah. But were they over 30, 100 pounds? Probably not.
No, they were both. I don't know. I don't think they were in shape, but you know, they weren't like hefty and jiggly.
Jiggly's kind of nice. Just I have a girlfriend. I'm allowed to say Jiggly's nice.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Calling her. I'm gonna tell her that you called her fat on the internet.
Hey, man. Not every part of a girl should be skinny, okay?
You've got me there. My hands are tied.
Hers were too.
Of the two, the MAGA girl was the nicer one.
Obviously.
But that was mostly because she was like the less aggressive to other people. Like
That sounds about right. Yeah. She was more conservative in nature.
Thank you, Micah.
You're welcome.
The Antifa girl was like, when I first met her, she's like, I'm not like other girls, and she's like, I'm vegan. She's like, I'm not like other vegans, so I'm very non-judgmental. I'm like, oh, good. But she just turned out to be like super judgmental chick. Like, whenever we were at the dining hall and would hang out, like she'd like watch other people walk by and like glare at their plates and then go, ugh.
Oh.
And she would use cancer a lot, like, you know, as Tumblr does. But she would use cancer just as this anchor in her wording to other people, where she's
That's cancer.
Yeah, she's like, wow, I hope so and so gets cancer. I'm like, whoa.
Why did she sound like Linkara?
Oh, well, I hope so and so gets cancer. Actually, there was this okay. Another plot twist is that MAGA girl was a cancer survivor. And so Tumblerina Tina was like, she's like, oh, you survived cancer, da 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 da. But whenever the three of us would like eat, she would like, you know, watch and glare how MAGA ate. And then when she left, she was like, wow, no wonder she got cancer. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So I mean, even though I'm not a MAGA guy at all, the MAGA girl was certainly the nicer of the two. And yeah, it's like Tumblr Tina like presented herself as very non-judgmental and accepting. When people weren't around, she was super judgmental. And if people didn't agree with her, she's like, I hope they get cancer.
Well, she's taller, obviously.
They're actually both pretty short.
I said tolerance, but okay.
Oh. Sorry, I've got tall ladies on the brain, as usual.
Yeah.
What else is new?
A centipede, a tall lady, homestar runner, archer. What else?
That's literally it. That's all that's bouncing around in there.
Man, I tease, but like I just an hour ago got done with our first assignment for class. Can you guys guess what it was? It was a post in this website where you take short videos of yourself. It's like, tell us 3 fun facts about yourselves. It's like, do a scavenger hunt where you put down the names of the people who fit these descriptions. And I'm like, I'm paying tuition for this. I don't know.
That was real. That was real, Jimmy. I could feel that.
Man, I think about how much tuition is, and I just get all grumbly inside.
Grumbly.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
So have you guys, how much Bitcoins have you guys been mining lately?
You gotta invest in Dogecoin, man.
Man.
It's got a point.
What's that one? It was like, oh, what? $39? Do you accept Reddit karma?
Reddit karma.
I love those memes.
There was this guy, speaking of Reddit karma.
Oh, good.
There's this guy on Twitter, and I think his name's like Randy the Atheist or something. And
already
today,
fits it.
Already good. I was having this conversation with him earlier today where he was trying to deny the existence of agnostics. He was like, you're either a theist or an atheist. And if you call yourself an agnostic, you're just hiding. And I was like, no. Like, I'm not an agnostic. I'm an open theist. Like, I affirm theism. But I was trying to get him to see, like, you can be agnostic. You cannot have a belief. And he's like, how does one not believe in a God? You either believe or don't believe. And I'm like, look, like, there's Bigfoot, there are people who strongly believe Bigfoot exists. There are people who strongly believe Bigfoot does not exist. And there are people who don't have an opinion. They don't believe he does exist. They don't believe he doesn't. I'm of that camp. I don't believe he exists, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he did. The world's a weird place. And so I was kind of like trying to show him, like, you can be agnostic on an issue. And he's like, yeah, but like, if someone put a gun to your head and made you choose, what would you choose? And it's like, I would say I don't have an opinion because I don't have an opinion on it. That's the point. It's like, I would not say, oh, I pick one or the other. And it's like, even if I did favor one opinion or the other, that's not positive affirmation. That's just favoring. Like, I have a friend of mine.
You can favor either one. Like, I'd say if you're agnostic, you could be like agnostic atheist or agnostic theist. You know what I mean? Like, you could be.
Right. Well, I have a friend.
Agnosticism just means you don't know.
Right. Well, I have a friend who's like, he's open to like classical theism, but he's essentially an agnostic. He doesn't really, he affirms that theism is the most likely possibility, but he's not religious and he doesn't embrace any religion. He's agnostic. And so it's like, even if you just favor one side or the other, that doesn't mean your mind is made up or you hold an opinion. And just to hear him be like, agnostics don't exist. It's like, they do. I was one. Like,
Micah, what would you do if somebody bonked you on the head, threw you in their van, and when you woke up, he had a gun to your head, and he said, do you believe in Bigfoot or not? And then he clicks the hammer on his revolver. What do you answer?
You know what they say about big feet?
What do they say about big feet?
Big sock.